Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made to help agents and brokers and team leaders develop more top producers in your desired market. We have a lot of different ways that we do that with an online community that you can find at topproducersnation.com. See our different programs, resources, software, checklists even to help you be a top producer in your desired market. And that's something that we are committed to doing. We do that as well with this show. And we bring on top producers from all over the country on this show to just dig into their best practices and what makes them successful in their local markets. We are powered on the local level by the Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise here in our local market of Tampa Bay, which is where we are right now in our beautiful studio on West Shore Boulevard. And we have our guest today, Miss Kelly DeCarlucci, top producer with Dalton Wade. Kelly, if you can see our screen here, was actually featured as a featured agent. I believe this was our September issue. Yes. Correct. I believe that's what it was. So our featured agent in our September issue, and she is in studio with us here today. You might have read a little bit about her article, those of you who have access to our local magazine. So Kelly, good to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I know you've been coming to some of our panels over the last few months, and
yes.
We've seen you there supporting them. We appreciate that.
I enjoy them.
I'm glad. Glad. That's what we put them on for. So we got to be able to get that information and that knowledge out there, right?
Yes.
So let's start a little bit with just your background, and just for people who might not know much about your story yet, did you grow up in Tampa? If not, how did you get here, and how did you get yourself interested in real estate?
Well, yes, I'm a Tampa native.
Okay.
Mom and Daddy came down in the 50s from Long Island.
There we go.
And
got the New York connection going. I love it.
Got those damn Yankees happening.
Big loss this week. That was a bad one.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
It
right?
happens. Unfortunately, more often than not in the last 10 years, but I digress.
I know. So no, real estate was not on my mind in any way, shape, or form until well later in life.
Okay.
And
your background was in like magazines, right?
Well, actually teaching.
Teaching. Okay.
Teaching. I went to school to become a nurse. I was a nurse for about 15 minutes, and I found out people died there.
That wasn't for you.
That wasn't for me.
Okay.
So then I went into teaching, and so I went to Tampa Bay Technical High School. I was supposed to go to Hillsborough High School.
Okay.
Well, once you go to school with everybody, No, that would have been a bad decision. It was like I knew I had to focus of what are you going to do.
Sure.
And so Tampa Bay Tech School gave you that opportunity to have the nursing degree when you graduated or the teaching degree when you graduated. And so that's what I did. I went into teaching. So I graduated with a child development associate's degree.
Okay.
And however, I graduated so young I wasn't old enough to teach by legal age.
So you got what, an assistant role there for a little while?
Well,
Just
yeah,
observing?
it's like but then I met Mr. DeCarlucci, and there you went.
There we go.
There you go.
That
Off
was
to
the
left
start of
field.
the whole journey.
Yeah, off to left field, and then my journey completely changed. And I taught a little bit, but we had a traditional household, and very traditional household.
Mentioned
Whenever
4 kids earlier.
we didn't have 4 children. We had 3. We had
Okay.
and I have 2 stepsons, Sean and Jason DeCarlucci, and Ashley Marie is our child together. But they are brother and sister. We were together for 35 years.
Sure.
And Sean and Jason are lovely, lovely sons that I still have in my life today. Although Mr. DeCarlucci has been gone quite some time,
Okay.
I still have that. Because they're my sons. The end.
Of course.
I can beat them and they still love me. How about
Of course. Absolutely. How
And-
long were you married?
that? How long? 35. 35
God
years.
bless you.
Yeah, yeah.
Working on 13 years right now.
You're working on 13 years.
That's right.
Oh.
September, we just celebrated our 13th
Well,
anniversary.
congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
still honeymooning.
I know.
You're still honeymooning.
Sometimes it doesn't always feel that way, but yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. Listen, the honeymoon dies when you let it die.
That's a good point.
Dance
good
in the
point.
kitchen. That's all I can say. Dance in the kitchen.
Which we do. We got the music humping. The kids love it, so it's all good.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The honeymoon should never die, and that's the most beautiful thing about marriage. I liked being married. I love being married. And I believe in the sanctity of marriage, and so anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Where we want to go?
So you were talking about teaching. And how
Oh,
long
yeah.
were you a teacher?
Oh, well, I taught a good 15, 20 years because, like I said, I graduated before, I could
What ages did you teach?
Oh, I like the babies.
You did?
I like the babies. So give me the 3, 4, 5-year-olds.
Okay.
And
Was it public school, private?
it was public school. Okay, so in public school, I started out in kindergarten, and then I moved into Head Start. Oh, no, I didn't move into Head Start. I started out in kindergarten. Then you moved into, it was this thing called ECIA. So it was, you picked out the potential dropouts in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade.
Okay.
And then you pulled them out of their classroom and you taught them how to read because
Okay.
they didn't have the basic grammar skills
Sure.
that they needed to perform on standardized testing.
Definitely needed.
That
The
definitely.
patience that teachers need sometimes is something that's well beyond my scope and
Absolutely.
capabilities. That's for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of people who are home teaching today, they have to have the support. You can't do
We
it all by
homeschool our
yourself.
kids now, and so
But-
my wife has that ability, and I don't know how she does it on a daily basis, but I
But
get
now
the
they have support though. They have this is what you're going to get for your work. This is what you're going to do for social.
Yeah.
And you meet up with other children that
For sure.
are homeschooled. That's because I
homeschool co-ops they call them.
Yeah. So listen, my baby's 43. All right. So I'm not in that world anymore.
Sure.
And but my big thing about children is the socialization.
Yeah.
You have to socialize them because it's a mean, cruel world out there.
Totally.
And we are parents who want to protect them.
So did you have the itch, would you say, for real estate while you were teaching, or
No.
where did that come from?
Not at all. Not at all. No, I was happy doing that. And then what happened was Mr. DeCarlucci passed. And then we were located back here. I was up in the Carolinas with a publishing company. And I
Okay.
worked at a publishing company, had 5 publications. And
That's what we had talked about before. Okay.
right,
So that was
right.
after your teaching years.
Yeah, after
Okay.
teaching, because we had relocated up to the Carolinas because it was too hot here in Florida, and I wanted to leave. It was just too hot, and so he said, "Okay," and he went up to the Carolinas for me, so that I could.
Good man.
Cool. He was an incredible man, and Job. That's
Yes.
what my brother called him, Job.
Amen. Amen. That's another good man. Hopefully he didn't go through all the persecution that Job did, but that's a whole
No,
other
but he had the
podcast.
patience of Job.
Yes. Very good trait.
Yes.
Very good trait.
Yes, and
What part of Carolina did you live?
we lived in Raleigh,
Okay.
North Carolina, and
Did you like the publishing career you had up there?
I did. I absolutely loved it. It was a whole new realm. It was a whole new world. It
Was that like
fabulous.
local magazines? Was it regional, national?
international.
It was all okay. So it was
International.
bigger scope stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Dayton, it's funny. Dayton was the man who owned the company. He unfortunately passed away. God, I loved him so much. And he owned a tobacco show because it was a tobacco industry magazine. We had 4 publications about tobacco.
Oh, wow.
And so he owned a tobacco show, an international tobacco show. So I cannot begin to tell you the scope of how huge that is, because R.J. Reynolds shows up.
Yeah.
You know, big names show up, and Dayton owns the show. Our company owned the show.
What were magazines about tobacco? What were they promoting? Like,
oh, well,
the benefits of smoking?
Oh, God, no. It was industry magazines.
Okay.
They were industry magazines. So it's talking about anything from how the crop was doing this year to the shipping containers and what was lined with the shipping containers. Then they also talked about how many chemicals and how smoking and why it's so poisonous. Not that it wasn't always poisonous, but how it's so much more poisonous today.
Sure.
Versus whenever, I guess, when my parents smoked, you know.
Who was your main audience? Was it consumers that were?
Oh, well, it was again, industry. All right, because you're selling to shipping liners, you know, chemical companies, R.J. Reynolds, you know, all of that.
Yeah.
Now, the other part of the magazine, another feature of the magazines, we had pipes and tobacco. So we did the Cigar City. So we did great cigars. We got the best cigars in the world.
You're speaking Tampa language right now.
Oh, man, the best cigars. Any cigar you wanted in the world. The best cigarettes ever made in the world. I mean, cigarettes that the United States hasn't even begin to hear of. Like, whenever you take a puff of that cigarette, you're like, oh. Because the thing is you're not allowed to smoke in buildings, but because we were a tobacco magazine, we had a smoking room because we had to test the product.
Sure.
And so you have to, because how are you going to speak honestly
of course.
about a
Davidoff?
Davidoff?
If you're going to write an article
if
about
you're
it.
smoking a Davidoff, you got to know the difference between a Davidoff and you know, a Louis Fuente. You got
right.
to know the difference. You know, where are you picking up these hints and hues? It's like drinking a good scotch.
What was your role there?
Nothing. I didn't do anything.
Were you a writer? Were you selling ads?
Yeah, I started off as the assistant to the sales manager to National Fire and Rescue. Yes, we had a National Fire and Rescue addition to the tobacco industry. Okay. And so, unfortunately, our sales manager was so horrible that I ended up with this job.
So you became a sales manager.
Yes, but then
you seem like you'd be a fun sales manager. I could see myself.
Well, there was only me in charge of me. But
and these were international clients, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, well when we did the fire and rescue, that was mostly United States.
Yeah.
But when you went to one of those shows, they were off the charts because because you got the big fire trucks,
sure.
You got the big ambulances, and they showed you how the foam worked and all of that. I mean, these were off the chain shows. They were just like.
It sounds like you had a lot of fun in this role.
I have fun in every role. That's my problem. I'm a good time.
Well, how did you get back to Tampa then?
Well, Mr. DeCarlucci's health was failing, and it was real funny. It's all very sentimental, and it was our first Christmas without our children. And I said, "Oh my God, you'll feel this one day." Yeah. Whoa! Well, you got 6 kids. I don't know, but you know, and it was like
coming.
It's the first time we've never been with one of our children at Christmas. We had a beautiful Christmas. Don't misunderstand, but.
Yeah, it's different for sure.
How was that? And it was Christmas night, and he said, "Pack your things. We're moving back to Florida."
Is that where your kids were?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, "Okay."
They were in this market?
They were in Florida. They lived here. They resided here.
Tampa, I mean? Okay.
Yeah, in Tampa. Okay. And I said, okay. So we packed our things, and I went into my beautiful job with my beautiful friends, my beautiful everything. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm leaving.
Oh, wow.
But that's how we rolled.
Yeah.
Whenever we left.
Were you excited about it, or?
Yeah. Well, when we left Florida, it was really funny because I was working, and I ended up working for a couple of attorneys. I had to leave teaching because it got too much. Parents were more. I could take the children. I can't take the parents. The egos.
I understand that based on the coaching Little League.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like every kid walked in was going to be an Olympian, or they're going to be a protege. They're going to be, and I'm like, can't they just be
right? Exactly.
Kids.
Yeah. Not in the mind of their parents sometimes. No. Unfortunately.
And so I had to leave it because. I can't do it. I can't do it. And so, so I ended up working for an attorney downtown, and so Barry called me at work one day, and he says to me, he goes, "Bob Hope died today." And I said, "Oh, that's so sad." And I remember saying, "Oh, Grandma played bridge with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby one time crossing the Atlantic." And I said, "But that's so sad." And he says, "Yes, we're moving." And I said, okay, when? He goes, 2 weeks. I said, all right, I'll go tell my boss.
What a healthy way to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So you came to Tampa, right? And
We came back home.
Came back home, and that was really, it sounds like, motivated by just being closer to the kids.
Being closer to the offspring.
Okay.
Yes, the offspring.
It wasn't work driven or work necessarily related.
No.
You mentioned that his health was failing already at the time. And so when you came back to Tampa, did you just kind of like enjoy that time with the family before even thinking about real estate or work? Or did you
no,
immediately
real
get
estate
involved?
was nowhere in my realm. No,
Okay.
no, Mr. DeCarlucci made it here and then he passed.
Okay.
And so, no, I face planted for about 7 years. And if it wasn't for my daughter and son-in-law and my children,
Oh, I love it that you get emotional about it, which makes sense.
well, my son-in-law,
Those must have been a
Michael
tough time.
Huser, is the salt of the earth. The salt of the earth. And he needs to know.
So during that period of time where it sounds like there was grieving from losing your husband and you weren't working.
Nope. Then what happened was my friends Jeff and Brenda Hicks, whom I love, the Adoring Ahern Group. I'm going to their house right after this.
Nice.
And they said, meet me in Ybor City. Let's go do dinner. And I said, okay, because I was way down in the View. I call it the View, River View. And so, and I said, okay. And so they said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said, I don't know, yada, yada. And they said, go get your real estate license. And
They were agents.
no,
Oh.
they're property appraiser, commercial
Okay.
property appraisers here right downtown Tampa.
Okay.
And Abby, their daughter, Abby Ahern, she does commercial real estate.
Okay.
And so, anywho, they said, go get your real estate license. And so I went home and I told Ashley Marie and Jason, my son, and they said, oh my God, yes, go do that.
Have you ever thought about that before?
Never.
Really? So they
Never.
just planted the idea and it sounded good to you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, because the thing was, is I knew I couldn't go back to teach. I knew that my mindset, my morals, my focus was not going to align with what Hillsborough County or any county said was okay for how
That's a
people
shame
behave.
too that good teachers are getting
Yeah.
out of it for that reason. But
Yeah. Oh no, it was never the children. It's the rules and regulations that.
And the ideology sometimes.
Yeah. I can do rules and regulations. I can't do the ideology. Maybe.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And so, anywho, I got my license.
What year was that?
On that topic, did you see where they're starting to require the 10 Commandments be posted in schools in Texas?
Good.
Yeah, I did see a post about it. I don't know if that's a state. I guess it's a state-to-state thing, right? Yeah.
State deciding.
Well, it kind of is what the country was founded on.
Well,
That's a good thing.
well, listen, I don't care if you believe in God or not. If you just follow those 10 Commandments,
Right.
just be
There's
a
a
good
reason
human.
why that moral code
Just
is
be a good
the
human.
foundation for all of the
Hopping on conversation.
laws.
We're talking about something that's kind of relevant right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. So you, I forgot what I asked you now. Oh, what year did you get licensed?
Oh, I've been licensed about 8 or 9 years, so I'm not real
Okay.
good at math. Don't want me to bounce your
Neither.
checkbook.
What's that? 2017? Does that sound about right?
Yeah,
2017-ish.
2017-ish, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that
Maybe.
first year for you? So it
Okay,
sounds like
so,
your
all right.
background as a teacher, and then even in the publishing business, you were an employee.
I was in sales
Right.
as a publishing, selling advertising. So literally, and well, whenever I was in sales for the fire rescue, I was assisting the national manager, so I would set up all of his appointments. This guy had it so good having me as his assistant. It's like I would say, Mr. Fletcher would like to see you at such and such a time about such and such a thing. I made him sound so important, and the guy wouldn't even make the phone call. And then I would go into the owner. I'm like, I'm going to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go crazy because I work part time because Mr. DeCarlucci was there. Was no full time work for you, darling. It was 3 days a week, 9 to 12 is when you're allowed to be away from
What
the
did
house.
he do for a living?
He was a foreman.
Okay.
And but I'm telling you, we were old school. It was old school. It was like if he was home, I was home. And
I love it.
yeah, because
Was real estate the first time you were commission only?
yeah,
Okay. Was that fearful for you?
you know what? No, because the thing was, is I said it was and it wasn't. It was and it wasn't. I'm not. There's that comfort and sitting back on your laurels, knowing you're going to get a paycheck.
Sure.
I've been there, done that.
Sure.
And not that Mr. DeCarlucci didn't supply me with money, and I brought in my own money and all of that. And I know that comfort of sitting back on your laurels and just knowing, if I don't work today, so what? I'm going to
Right.
get paid. Whenever you work for yourself, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different hunger. It's a whole different game. It's a whole different avenue. It's like, and if I don't feel like working today or putting on my face, that's up to you, darling. But guess who's not going to eat tomorrow?
Right.
You know,
It's a whole different mindset.
it is a whole different.
And a lot of
mindset.
people struggle with that, especially if that's not what they're used to, right? For the majority of their life, if their background is in W-2 or in, collecting a paycheck and putting in that time, getting paid for time, that's a whole different mindset versus getting paid for results, right?
Right.
That really is what a real estate agent has to embrace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of agents have a hard time making that transition and struggling with that, especially early on in their career.
Well, yeah, and again, I have to give credit back to Michael Huser and my daughter Ashley DeCarlucci. They're married, but Ashley still has her last name, so it is Ashley Huser. But they gave me the grace that I needed. And I don't know anybody who's going to do what they did for anybody else. I was just like off the chain fortunate. Off the chain fortunate.
That's awesome.
And also, they're very afraid of me. So
That helps too. So talk to us about your first year, if you remember.
Okay, so
what it
my
was like
first year,
in getting traction and getting things
okay,
moving.
so my first year I was with Mr. Big Box, okay, and I don't even want to give them credibility by saying their name.
Okay.
Although their training was good.
Okay.
Our floor manager was truly, I believe, insane. And I had to leave. but the thing is that
There's a lot of insane people, I think, in the real estate industry.
well, and again, you have to remember, I came from an industry where I didn't have to work with insane people. I didn't work like with the general
None
public.
in the tobacco business.
No, no, because it was like business, and it was yada.
Yeah.
This world is like giddy up. you know, who's going to be your huckleberry? Because
So was it hard? Did you struggle a lot in that first year? Was it hard for you to get traction, or
Well,
did it just
now
come
my
naturally?
first year, this is what they do: is they say you go out there and get renters. Go out there and turn that renter into a buyer, and they give you the techniques on how to do that. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. Show me what to do. All right. So, oh God, this is just the most beautiful story. So, so like I told you, I had Mr. Crazy Man. And so he gives me this set of renters. And so I said, all right. And so I take this set of renters out, and they're lovely, lovely, lovely people, and they're going to have Uncle Louie move in with them because Uncle Louie's getting a little bit older.
Sure.
So Uncle Louie's, and we're looking at these gorgeous homes, lovely homes. And so, and Uncle Louie says to me, he goes, well, do we have to rent? And I said, well, no, Uncle Louie. They called because they wanted to rent.
Uncle Louie.
You don't have to rent, Uncle Louie. And he goes, well, can I just buy the house and we can all just live here? And I said, sure, Uncle
Of
Louie.
course,
Are you
Uncle
sure?
Louie, we could do that.
We can do that. But I never once, I want you all to know this, if you're new out there listening, I never once pushed them into a sale.
Sure.
Okay?
It was Uncle Louie's desire.
You came to look at rentals.
Yep.
And that's what I came to show you. And I showed you gorgeous rentals. And so back then, though, see, you got paid on a rental like $250, $300.
Right.
Today, they don't want to pay you $250, $300. And then by the time you pay your broker, because you've got to split that with your broker, and you're like, ay, caramba, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not playing that game. You're like, yeah, next.
Yes.
And so, but then once you educate the renter how easy it is to get approved, because it gets the same approval as renting as you do to purchase a regular home.
Sure.
They don't realize that because they've never purchased before. This young couple who was having Uncle Louie move in. So, at this brokerage, not only did they split your commission, then they split for this service fee, then they split for this fee, and then they get that fee, and then they took for this fee, right? And they took for, and so by the time you actually got your paycheck, you were like, what the
Not
heck
enough to buy lunch
was-
for Uncle Louie, huh?
Can't even buy Uncle Louie a card to say thanks for letting me drive you around for 45 days. And so anyway, the most beautiful thing was this, is that whenever I went to go turn in all the paperwork, I made sure I went to this sales manager that was on our floor, and I said, well, now so-and-so and so-and-so came to me as the renters, and you have it in your database that these are my clients and that I owe this company X amount of dollars because you gave me this lead. And he says, well, yes, that's how it works. I said, fine, they aren't going to rent from me at all. However, Uncle Louie, who's not in your system, is purchasing. Now, how do we handle that? And I got
loophole.
and I got all the commission, and he went insane.
Didn't like that, huh?
Didn't like that.
Didn't like the Uncle Louie connection.
Didn't like the fact that I said, "Oh, I understand your
So
system
you weren't
now."
encouraged to create your own leads, it sounds like.
Oh no,
To prospect.
no. And then another thing that they did, like even if you did get a listing, and you had to put the company phone number on your sign,
Not your own, right?
not your own. And if the person
You were a
wanting
company
to purchase,
gal. You weren't building your own brand, it sounds
right?
like,
And
at that
so
time.
and they would call the company, ask for me, and that meant, oh well, now the company gets money because they used our phone to contact you, but now you forced me to put your phone number on my sign that I had to pay for.
Right.
So I'm like, and then Phil Wade called. Now I hadn't been with this company not 6-7 months, and it was like,
Oh wow! So this was pretty early.
it
This
was
in your first
so
year.
fast, so fast. It was like I can smell bad news all day. And so Phil called me, and Phil's like so laid back, so hang ten, so like, why don't you come over here? And I'm like, I'm too nervous.
How did he know you since you were so new?
I don't know. I don't know how they know. I don't know how.
Interesting.
I don't know how.
They were prospecting. And
I guess they were
contacted
prospecting,
you.
do what brokers do, who
Yeah.
got their new license.
Yeah.
And then the next month, I said he was trolling. He was fishing. Not
Yeah.
trolling like people troll. I meant like fishermen
Fishing.
fishing.
Sure.
You know, in that line just going, ooh.
So you've been with Dalton Wade this whole time.
The whole time. The whole time. So whenever, it was real funny because I had this girlfriend of mine, Sandra, and she is a paralegal for a probate attorney. Then she went into real estate. So her knowledge was off the chain. Okay, just because of all the things she had done in her past career. And so I told her, I said, okay, so this guy, Phil Wade, he keeps calling me and he's saying things that sound so good, but you know what they say? Now, Sandra's from New Jersey. You're not going to pull any wool over her eyes. And she works for an attorney. She's already going to eat you alive, and she doesn't even know you. And so
Gotta love the Northeast mentality.
I love it too. And so anyway, so I said, I want you to come with me and listen to what he has to say and see if I'm hearing the same exact words as I'm repeating to you. Because when you want something
Yeah, smart.
so bad, and see, this is where I'm going to, don't let me lose my train of
hear
thought.
what you want to hear versus
Right.
what they're actually saying.
And don't let me lose my train of thought on this, because I'm going to go back to a contract and the philosophy, how I feel realtors go and rush through that contract and say, I know how to do it. I don't need anybody to look at it. I don't need anybody to edit. I'm great. No, it's a contract. Your eyes want to see something. You better make sure somebody takes a second look
Yeah,
at
for
it.
sure.
And so
Especially an expert who actually is trained to know what to look for.
exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Sandra went with me, and we brought a few other girls that went, that we all hung out with in the I guess a little war room there, and they all said, oh no, Kelly, you're right. Well, we all left simultaneously. I can tell you that my broker was fit to be tied, and said how I corralled everybody up and was poaching. And I was like, you're insane. You're insane. I'm leaving because my son, Jason, said, who's been in sales a long time, pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered, and you're a hog, and I'm out. And then they held my license for 2 weeks, which is against the law.
Oh, wow.
And Phil was like, no, they can't do that, but just let it go.
Yeah.
And so, so I sold a good one house, good solid sale with the big box, and then I went over to Phil, and I got my first really big sale back then. And I was just, I took off. I just said, oh no, I can do this all day. I could do this 10 times a day, and I can work circles around anybody.
Did you get leads provided through Phil as well, or were you self-generating?
Well, I was getting leads from Phil, and then I built my own website.
Okay.
And because and I feel so cool. He is really cool about things, and I like him because of it. Is he kind of lets you broker inside of a broker without being a broker?
Yeah.
You know what
Gives
I mean?
you that freedom to build a brand.
He does. He does. And Phil's philosophy is this, and I don't know how many other brokers feel this way, but if I called Phil, don't let me down. If I called Phil, his philosophy is if I don't pick up the phone, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. If I can't call you back in 2 minutes, give me 2 hours.
Sure.
And he, in all of this time, has never failed me.
That's awesome.
Has never failed me on that.
So as you were getting some traction in those earlier years and thinking about what type of agent you wanted to be, was there a type of client or specific niche that you felt like you were serving really, really well? I know we're going to talk a little bit about your current clients who are investors, and we're going to touch on that a little bit. Were you working with investors that early, or did that evolve later?
No, that kind of because like again, it's not been that long because I've been working with Manny and George for like 3 years now,
Okay.
so they came along pretty soon.
Yeah.
So I have another friend who was in the industry, and he told me a few things about, he's a builder, and he says, get investors, and we'll build, and did. So it's like networking, talking to people
Yeah.
and so I went down that route.
Do you have a opinion either way on working, because it really is in some ways a different business model when you're working with investors versus
It
working
is.
with your traditional home buyer or seller, right?
Yes.
Different emotions are involved, obviously different. How they analyze the deal is very different. Do you prefer one way or the other? Does not really matter as much to you?
The person is what's going to matter.
Yep.
The person's what's going to matter.
Who you connect with.
Who I connect with, the trust level, the communication level, the bandwidth that they can understand, and the thing is too, it's not just me alone. I mean, it's going to be their lender, it's going to be our title company,
Sure.
it's going to be our attorneys involved. Everybody has to have a huge open line of communication, and the goal is in mind is to make a buyer and a seller happy. That
Sure.
I'm here to broker this. I'm here to manage that all of these small bits and pieces get together. So I guess I get frustrated with the ego that comes with a lot of realtors because I can't stand it. because
You've had some deals fall apart based on that ego, would you say, Kelly?
have
Not
I
your ego. I'm saying the ego in general with agents. Has that been an issue at times in actually
Well-
hindering the deal, getting to the closing table?
Well, okay, so like not this, like 2 or 3 deals ago. This is what I get. I have this great house for sale, and it's a tough market, man. These last 2 years have not been an easy market, not at all. Not for residential
Right.
$450,000, $350,000 homes. People are hurting.
Right.
People are hurting. I get this call on this listing, and boy, I need it. This guy is not only selling, he's buying. My listing is buying too, so it's like
Yep.
a lot on
Perfect
my
scenario.
yeah, gorgeous scenario, right? Well, in comes Mr. Buyer's agent. I've got 20 years of experience. I'm fabulous. I'm wonderful. I'm like, oh, great. That's wonderful. I can't wait to see your contract. Send it over. I'm so excited. Okay. Now it's a 13-page contract. It used to be 12. It used to be 11. 15 errors on a 13-page contract, and you're screaming to me about your expertise.
Well, I think it's a red flag if someone feels the need to scream about their expertise. They're probably hiding something or overcompensating for some lack of confidence.
And
right?
then again, I come from a teaching background, so what do you think I did?
Yeah.
I line itemed.
Proofread?
We always proofread, but then I line itemed every error he made and said, I really appreciate the contract. If you could get the address right, the name right, the price right, that like just to fix the 15 errors
Sure.
on the 13-page contract.
Kelly, you're funny. So, talk to us a little bit about, you were saying off camera that you work now with these 2 investors. How did you meet them?
Okay, all right, so here we are. All right, you realtors out there in the doldrums. Oh my God, does everybody know what the doldrums are?
Yeah, I
Right.
believe so.
Okay,
I do.
there I am.
Nobody wants to live there, that's for sure.
No, it's a bad place.
Right.
So here I am. Okay, so All right, so I'm working with Phil. I'm working with Phil Wade. I love Phil Wade. Everything's going great. Man, you're pounding that pavement. You're making those phone calls. You're hitting that. You're doing. I'm like, you know what? I need my own database. I need my own peeps. I need everything. I need all mine for me. No, but you just feel that if I'm in control of me, I need to be in control of me. So I call up this guy. His name happens to be Phil too. And I said, I really like your website. Who made it?
He was an agent?
He was an agent
Okay.
with Phil Wade. And he and I started working together. He goes, oh, don't build a website. Just jump on mine. I'll give you my leads. I got I'm like, all right. In the interim, I still want to build a website. So talk to me. And so we started working together. And while we were working together and I was on his website, now he has a whole different personality than me. Okay, so he was like a Wall Street guy. He was on QVC. So he's one of those guys that are out there kicking the tires. and I like him. Don't misunderstand. I like him a lot. It's just not my gig.
Sure.
So I'm building my own website in the interim, and he knows it. You know, we're being friends and buddies and pals. We're not in competition. We're being cohorts in crime here.
Sounds like he wanted you to be on his team in some ways.
Absolutely, and I was. Well, God forbid, the poor thing. And all realtors, I'm going to tell you this, get up in the morning and exercise, or get up in the middle of the day and walk around, or get up in the middle of the night, go exercise.
Good advice.
This poor man was so upset about this one transaction that it was a multi-million-dollar deal. And as he gets it and it's getting ready to close, and the sellers or the buyer says, yeah, if you don't give me back $20,000, I'm canceling the contract. Well, it was eating him alive. And I said, listen, eat the $20,000, give it back to her. All she can say is good things about you. Don't worry about it. Well, it bothered him so much, it literally killed him. He just sat right there and died at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
My goodness.
Right there.
Yeah.
And he was younger than me.
No one deal's worth that.
Nothing. Well, it's a multitude of deals. You know, he's working his website. He's trying to do everything, people.
Right.
He was trying to do his advertising, trying to build his website, trying to build his clientele. You cannot be all things to everyone at one time.
Right.
Then you do a disservice to everyone. So, anywho, I ended up building
It's a good lesson in focusing on keeping the main thing the main thing.
Well, you want to live.
Right.
You want to
That's
live.
a good point, too.
We want to live.
But it's also a good business concept and principle.
Yeah.
That you really can't spread yourself too thin to be able to serve people at the best levels. But if you identify who the people are that you really want to serve at the highest levels and you make that the main thing, then you're not as easily distracted by some of these other things that can take you in the different spirals, and who knows where that takes you. Hopefully not to the death door, but...
Well, it did. I'm telling you, there's two different people here, okay? There's two different people. There's that guy who's going to sit behind his screen and beat that computer keyboard to death, and then there's going to be the guy who's going to go, you know what, no, because literally, I will do this, and I'm sorry, I don't care if anybody likes it. I need to turn off my phone, close the blinds, and just shut down. No electronics for a little while. You have to do it. You have to walk away, because then you're going to come back fresh, new and bright and different. So I think that's right. So what happened is here I am. I'm living downtown, and floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous view. And I'm in the doldrums. I got nothing. I'm dead in the water. Nothing coming down the pike. I have no choice but to pick up that telephone and call someone in my database because it's hard to do some days. You have to have the right mindset. You have to be in the mood. You have to say the right things. And lo and behold, my first phone call, if it wasn't to my George Fernandez.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be, my George. And so, George. And so, anyway, he told me, he says, oh, I just happened to be in Tampa today. I'm glad you called. And he goes, I'm looking at commercial real estate right now. He goes, but I need you for residential. Can I call you later? I said, absolutely, you can call me. And then he called me 5 minutes later, and he goes, can you sell commercial? I said, I most certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, well, I want you to look at this building, and I want you to do this, and I want you to do that, because I'm talking to this other realtor, and I don't think I trust him. I don't like his voice. I trust you, and I like your voice. And I said, well, here you go. I'm here. And off to the races we went. And it has been a whirlwind since the day I've met him, and here we are today. And
that was 6 years ago?
Oh, gosh. No, George has only been about...
Oh, you said about 3 years, right? Okay.
3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Very cool. So you've been selling commercial and residential.
Yes.
and all over the floor, all over the state, right? Not just
Yeah.
local to
Right.
Tampa Bay.
So
I know
I
you
know-
mentioned you have a building in Miami right now.
Yeah, with George. And so the thing is, people say, "Oh, farm," and they're like, "Where do you farm?" I said, "The state of Florida." You know? Why wouldn't I not go?
If the deals are there, why not?
Well, I have an excellent GC. I have excellent attorneys. I have excellent contacts in these other areas. And if not, I'll make one.
Sure.
That's why we network is like, yes, if I have to refer someone out, absolutely I will if it's well out of my scope. But if it's not, and George and I have we get along very, very well. And so that was a nice conversation. And lo and behold, here I am still that same day.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that was a good conversation. Still, I don't know anything, right? Where are we going to go from here? I have to make yet that next phone call.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, if it wasn't Manny.
Did you know that these were investors when you were calling them? You didn't.
No,
They
were
just happened to be prospects on your
in
your
my
database.
That they came organically from my database.
For your website.
From my website to my website. And so Manny, I love Manny so much too. Manny has a property down at Marina Point waiting to be built, I think 2027.
Okay.
We had to stop the construction at Marina Point because of the tariffs. And because it was supposed to break ground
Okay.
this spring. And so I think as soon as the
The uncertainty of the tariffs would just cause craziness with the prices.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that like, you can go ahead and price out so much, but your steel and stuff like that is going to change every day. Titanium changes every day.
Right.
It changes every day.
Right.
So it's like a builder puts in a bid on his steel rebar or his whatevers or his lumber, and then wait a minute, there's tariffs on it. Well,
Right.
wait, that just changed it. And
I can't go back and change all the pricing quotes and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It wreaks chaos and
Yeah.
havoc on them. So they're just like, let this stop. We're going to stop, let things calm down, then we'll come back to it. So that's all good. And the good thing is that he did have an opportunity to say, no, thank you. I don't want to be here anymore. And he didn't take it. He said no. And so then Manny also has 4 properties down in Ybor City with my own construction. Jason Campagnola is my general contractor who he and his wife also
The name
have
sounds familiar to me. Campagnola for some reason.
well, he is like incredible. He has been such a mentor and he's like my Google.
Kelly, what do you think are the differences? I mean, I know there's many, so we'll try to hone in maybe on one. But in your experience in working with the traditional buyer-seller versus the investor side of things, what do you, if an agent maybe is liking the idea of working with investors because there's the opportunity for multiple deal flow, right, which you've experienced, but maybe they don't have a ton of experience in really working in that world yet on the investor side. Is there anything you would recommend that something they should do first or look at first or educate themselves on first before they even entertain the investor world, or
absolutely.
just dive right in?
Number one, you're going to dive right in. I'm going to say, I'm going to go in both feet and then I'm going to start swimming, okay? Because I'm not going to sink.
Because you learn as you go, right?
You're going to learn as you go.
Yep.
First of all, don't go there if you don't think, okay, we're not going to jump into high seas unless we know how to swim in high seas.
Sure.
All right. Educate yourself. Surround yourself with the highest caliber of agent. Don't surround yourself with the guy who's going to be the gossip monger in your office. Again, I don't go into an office. I don't care if Bob sold $1 million last week and I didn't.
Sure.
I'm happy for Bob. I'm so happy for Bob.
Yay, Bob.
Yay, Bob.
Shout out, Bob.
Okay, but when I think when you go into those offices, they put that competition against each other, and
Yeah.
I've never been about that. And I think that comes from my teaching background as a parent. I never wanted anybody to compete. What I want is, Bob, you did so good. You sold $1 million property. What'd you do, Bob?
Right.
Tell
What can
me.
I learn from you?
What can I learn from you, Bob? Let's share. Just like you're saying, Kelly, share. So that's what I'm sharing with you. Make sure you surround yourself with good people who are going to share how they got there.
Is that how you learned? Because you didn't really have a personal background in investing in real estate, right?
No. Well, I didn't. I can't say that I did and I didn't. All right. My father-in-law, that's all they did is bought real estate. And so it was back in a time when people of color, because they're Italian too, so you didn't go to the bank and get a loan. You weren't going to get one. It didn't matter. It did not matter. So they were in a position financially. They would purchase a home. they would refurbish it, and then they would hold the mortgage. So is that an investor?
Sure.
Yes.
I would
And
call
so-
it one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what they did is they owned multiple properties around Hillsborough County, and they collected their mortgage because they
They were note
sold.
holders.
Yeah, they were in the note holders. They wasn't rentals. They were note holders, and they went every week, and they picked up their money every week, not every
One
month.
way or the other. And those Italians know how to pick up their money.
Yeah, and
They
I
need
think-
to.
And listen, I got to tell you a story because this is just how it rolls, and it's not a lie; it's the truth. And it's like no, this
Mr.
is
DeCarlucci needs his money.
so true. So you go.
So this is a side note, but last weekend, or I'm sorry, Tuesday morning, we had a prayer breakfast for the Christian Men's Business Council.
Oh,
And the main, there was like 600 people. I was at Armature Works.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
I was there early Tuesday for that event. And the actual keynote speaker was the Michael Francisi, who was the mob boss for the Colombo crime family up in New York for many years. And it's just a fascinating testimony. His message was about his relationship with Jesus Christ and how he's basically an evangelist now, traveling the country and talking about the power of Jesus. But his story is one of the most unique and powerful stories ever about his life as a mob boss and what that was like, and how he obviously didn't feel like he could ever be forgiven for some of the things that were done. But yeah, that was a dynamic in and of itself, was hearing the nitty gritty of
isn't
the
it
story.
funny when a man of power like that? Well,
Part of his life was actually glorified in the movie Goodfellas. So they filmed some of the stuff from real stories that were told.
The Irishman with John,
Yeah, I saw it.
Like, that's
Pesci and De Niro, and that was like a 3.5 hour movie, The Irishman.
okay, yeah, but the thing is like I know some of those companies.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, anywho, so what happened was Mr. DeCarlucci, he went to go, John, he went to go collect his rent. And so the gentleman didn't have his rent. And he goes, no, I'm going to need your mortgage. It was his mortgage.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll have it for you tomorrow. JD's like, okay, no problem. So JD goes back tomorrow. But tomorrow he has a few people with him. And he says,
Hey, Mr. DeCarlucci needs his money.
and so he says, so I'm here to collect the mortgage. He goes, JD, I don't have it. I don't have no money. He goes, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. You don't have to buy it. It's not a problem. And so he tells the men to get out of the truck. And they came and removed every single window and every single door to the house. And he goes, I got to make some repairs.
Oh, the creative ways to
I
make
know
sure
it.
that
And
you
so
get paid.
all of a sudden he had money. And the
funny.
doors and windows went back up.
Funny how that works. Huh?
I know. So, and but yeah. So I don't have to collect my paychecks with a Doberman and a gun.
Your windows in your door.
I stick your windows in your no.
The investors that you work with, it sounds like, are most of them like buy and hold investors? Are they developers? Are they flippers?
All of George's properties are George's properties.
Yeah.
Manny's properties, his personal home, yes, and then the other ones are going to be for sale and purchase.
Okay.
In Ybor City, which we are going to. I have been following Daryl Shaw and Garrett Greco and listening and going to all the meetings and seeing the future of Ybor City, which is quite
A lot of development over there, right? Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because I am a Tampa native, and I'm telling you what,
Yeah.
Ybor City's gone.
Ybor's
through-
had its days.
Yeah.
I remember going to UT. I'm old enough to remember the days when Ybor was like the hot spot for the University of Tampa students. Because we used to party there all the time back then. But then it changed a lot when it got a little bit more gun waving after that. And I think it's changing again,
and now
thankfully,
it's
for the
doing
better.
a whole new
Yeah.
metamorphosis. So it's beautiful. So we've been listening carefully. Jason Campagnola of My Own Construction, he and I have both been listening very carefully, along with Manny, of what Daryl Shaw's and Jeffrey Vinnick at one time, their projection of what Ybor is going to be, the future, and Bill Carlson, you listen to him. I remember years and years and years ago going to one of his meetings, and they were like, no, Tampa's going to be a hub. Everybody was, and I think that we are, with all these people and the powers that be, they're making it happen.
Yeah.
I wish we would clean it more. It's like when you go to Bradenton or Sarasota, the sidewalks are so clean and so
Yeah.
pretty. I just, when, Mayor Jane, can you get a pressure washer?
Come on, Mayor Jane, step it up on the
Mayor Jane,
on the
get a pressure
cleanliness
washer.
aspect here.
Yeah.
Ybor does have a cool vibe to it, though.
Yeah.
And so I could see where if it was a little bit cleaner and having some of the little bells and whistles that make some of these other newer places feel new, that would add some value.
You've seen the trajectory of what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
With the Ybor Harbor.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to put in all those high rises. And then I think underneath the highway, they're going to do a park like they're going to do down on Gandy, way down there by Marina Point. And so my properties, I say mine, they're really mayonnaise, but they're mine, are only 2 blocks from that. So we're going to be going up 3 to 4 stories.
Okay.
And we're going to have 3,300 square feet, 2-car garages, possible pools.
So this is a whole development project.
We've got 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Just 3.
Gotcha.
And so...
but he's developing them from scratch. They're not built yet.
They're scratch. His land
Right.
is
He owned the
right
land.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, we have vacant land right now.
Do you still get leads from your website? Is that still a source for you?
Yes.
Is that the main source, or do you have other? Okay.
And my own referrals. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Your existing clients just loving you and wanting to.
They better love me because
do
they're
you know
afraid
what
of me if they
percentage of your
don't.
business now comes from, say, traditional buyers and sellers versus your investors? What's that look like?
I'm going to say, all right, I don't know. I would like to say half and half.
About 50-50. Okay.
I'm going to say half and half.
So you don't find it challenge? I guess why I ask is some people, I think, find it challenging to serve 2 different audiences like that really well.
Well, I think I'm probably ADHD, so it works perfect for me. It's
Okay.
like I'm going to get really bored in a minute here going, all right, so your termite inspection said.
No, I get it. It makes sense.
So it's like, okay, wait a second. I get to see
you get
the
excited to be able to work a different type of deal, right?
Right.
Investors are a whole other type of deal
A whole
than
different animal.
working with your normal,
A whole different
And I think it makes sense. So you got to know what you're into, what your strengths are, and who you can serve, and have fun doing it. I think some agents again struggle with like that ability to be able to do that well when it's easier for them to focus in on one niche,
And well,
one
again,
market.
you probably have, like when we started this conversation, if you're coming from a W-2 world
Mm-hmm.
and sitting back on your laurels expecting that paycheck, don't be in this industry.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hand you anything.
You got to be proactive, that's for sure.
You've got to, every day you have to wake up and be hungry and say, I'm unemployed. I have no, even the other day, like whenever we finally sealed our deals, right, with George and everything else, and it's like, all right, ironclad attorney stamp, like nobody's backing out. Otherwise there's hundreds of thousands of dollars at loss here. Okay. We're going forward. And even though I felt, finally, yay, I'm going to celebrate a relaxed moment. I'm at home by myself going, all right, now I have to get, what's my next
What's your next deal?
What's my next deal?
Right.
What am I going to do now?
Totally.
What am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
Because
The pipeline never ends.
I know, but it's not like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? I'm like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? What's next?
Get excited about
I
it.
get excited about what's up next.
I get it.
So,
Couple quick things. We're going to pivot a little bit to some personal questions just for
Ruh-roh.
people to
I
get to
thought
know
we
you a
did
little bit more.
personal.
We've been all over the place, which is fine.
I know.
That's the way it's supposed to be. What are, okay, a couple rapid fire things. Ready? Do you have a favorite book or author or seminar maybe that you've ever attended that you feel like has made an impact on you personally or professionally?
oh gosh. Okay. So, all right. I love this speaker called Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. Oh, yeah, of course.
I love Jim
He sold
Rohn.
Cutco knives. You better know who Jim Rohn is.
Got to know Jim Rohn. He's a classic.
Now, Tony Robbins copies Jim Rohn. Dan Martell.
That was actually Tony's mentor, was Jim Rohn.
I love Jim Rohn.
Mm-hmm.
If we could clone a human, I want him to come back because I love it. I love his philosophy of, there's 24 hours in the day. There's me and you. We're sitting at the same job, right? But here you are going, I can't make no much money, but she's making all that money. How come she makes all that money? Well, because he says, it's raining out today. You have the 2 salesmen. The one salesman says, oh, I can't go out. It's raining.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk to me today. And the other salesman goes, I'm going out today. It's raining. Everybody will be home.
Yeah, that's
and
so true.
It's your attitude.
Such an attitude thing.
It's your attitude.
What you focus on expands, right?
Yeah.
That's what they preach. No,
Yeah.
he's the OG. He's one of the OGs.
And I listen
Jim
to
Rohn's
him.
been
I
around
hear
long,
him
long
in my
time.
head because it's like, being a realtor, and this is to all realtors, anybody, I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you're an electrician. If you're sitting down with dinner with your family, you're sitting down with dinner with your family.
All right. Focus.
Appreciate
the moment.
Appreciate the moment. That was one thing that Jim Rohn did say. You know, you would feel guilty if you were at the beach with your family because you should have been at work. And if you're at work, you're guilty because you're at work because you should be at the beach with your family.
Right.
So...
Yeah, Tony preaches the same idea too. Like the idea of so many people either spend all of their energy focusing on the past, which they can't change,
right,
or the future, which they can influence, but they can't live there in the moment, right? But what really matters is the present, which is why he calls it the gift, right? So
right.
It truly is. That truly is where most of our energy should be focused. But
right
that's
here.
not how most of us, because our brains are always thinking in all kinds of different directions.
Right.
And when you're an entrepreneur, like, you know, really in its core, being an agent means you have to have entrepreneurship characteristics and strategies.
Right.
Because you're a brand. You have to grow your brand, but you have to be your brand on a regular basis. And you can't do that if your mind's always thinking about the past or the future instead of the actual person sitting in front of you. So I appreciate that.
Man,
What, you like that?
that was awesome.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of wisdom in my mind, apparently. That's from Jim Rohn directly.
I know, but he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's timeless.
I agree.
He's timeless.
Here's another one. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, I love the movies. I have so many favorite movies.
What's one?
Okay, well, you gotta love The Godfather. but I love.
Are you 100% Italian?
No, I'm German and Irish. I'm not even Italian. I'm
how
Italian.
about you?
No, I'm German and Irish. Yeah.
Mr. DeCarlucci was 100%
Mr.
Italian.
DeCarlucci was Irish.
I got you. My wife is half Italian.
You know, my father, I'm Hermans, HERMMS. So I'm from Brennen, Germany. My family's from Brennen, Germany.
I'm also from Germany.
Yeah.
Germany and England.
Yeah.
I got the English and German split. So
No,
internal conflict in my
Mama's
my
family
DNA.
was from Ireland, and Daddy's family was from Germany. So I am full-blown German and Irish.
There we go.
And I'm really mad about this because my grandfather on my mother's side was a twin. My grandfather on my father's side was a twin. Mr. DeCarlucci was a twin. Did I get twins?
It doesn't seem so.
Didn't get twins.
Let me ask you this, Kelly. What's your favorite part about being a realtor?
Oh, you know what? It feels so good. Like whenever you're talking about a residential homeowner, like one of my favorite times is like I know they do it a lot now, but they didn't do it whenever I first started doing it, is whenever you can bring the title company to the home in which the buyer is purchasing and have them sign documents on their own kitchen counter.
That's cool.
In their own house, give them their keys, and then we leave, and we leave them to
alone
their
to
privacy, to their own home.
Soak it all in.
To soak it all in. That is, because that is the American dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the American dream, is to make somebody a homeowner, and a home that they can afford. Also, a home that they can afford, a home that they are comfortable in.
Yeah.
Do not ever upsell anybody. Oh my God, that's the worst thing you can do. Because my philosophy was this, and I always tell this to my residential people, is that my goal is at the end, because I say this in the very beginning, my goal at the end of this is whenever we purchase your home and you're happy in it, 6 months later, when I'm said and gone and I'm out of your mind, and you have one of the worst days in the neighborhood, and you pull into your driveway, I want you to say, "Thank you, Kelly, I'm pulling into my sanctuary." And I said, that's what will give me peace.
That's cool.
I would love that. That's my goal.
And it is really, if you think about it, one of the neat things about being a realtor is the product that you sell is a permanent structure in someone's life, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of products out there. I mean, there's so many different things we can sell nowadays. A lot of products come and go. They use them for a little while, then they get rid of them. And of course, people move when it comes to their home.
Right.
But it's always a permanent fixture. People are generally going to have a roof over their head. Of course, we have the homeless, but you understand what I'm saying.
Right, right.
So yeah, I mean, it's cool to think about the value and the ongoing value that what you do matters, right? It makes a real difference in people's lives. Like you said, it's the American dream. And I think it's not just a financial thing for most people. It's a true emotional, investment.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Without
Yeah.
a shadow. I know that like whenever George and I were in the middle of this deal and it wasn't going well and we thought we lost a deal and I called him up and I said, oh George, I'm so sorry. I think that we lost a deal, George. I just feel so bad. And we hung up and then I called him back and I said, George, I'm so sorry. My heart is just so sad that I think that we might have lost this deal. And he stopped me, and this is so funny because this is your clients talking to you now. And he stopped me. He goes, no, don't be sad. Don't be sad. He goes, I asked God, if I can afford this, put it in my life, God. And if I cannot, take it away.
Yep.
He goes, so we aren't sad. And it's never been, now mind you, yes, I work for a living, but it was never about my commission as much as I want to make George happy.
Sure, I get it.
You
That's
know?
the attitude that I think a lot of the top producers have, thankfully, that I've had an opportunity to interview on the show. So there's a similar philosophy, I believe, with what you just said versus, and unfortunately, I don't think that's the vast majority of all agents, or else there would probably be more agents who are successful, right?
Yes.
But the top people, the ones who are successful that we get to meet and interview and put in the magazine and have them on the show, there is a common thread about that attitude, I believe. And that is a big distinction. So if you're an agent out there who wants to be successful, maybe you're not yet where Kelly's been or some of the other top producers that we've had on the show, it really does start, I think, first with the mentality. Like, are you really serving your people or are you trying to just get
A commission.
a commission?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be around people with commission breath. It's
well,
pretty
exactly.
stinky.
If you want,
pretty stinky stuff.
If you want the commission breath, go back to your W-2 job.
Yeah.
Go back to your W-2
Get paid for
job
time.
and get paid for your time.
Yeah, totally.
Because I eat, sleep, and drink this job.
Yeah.
I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about it. I'm sure you do the same thing.
How you can
many
serve
times
well, yeah.
you sat in front of your computer when the house was quiet going, wait a minute, I just gotta type this. I just gotta get this out.
Well, we're running out of time, so we're
Okay.
going to have to put a bow on our episode. But I
All
want
right.
to end with this. I always have a what I call the legacy question to get you to think about what really matters. And so when that day does come, Kelly, and you're sitting on the rocking chair and thinking about what you'd want to be most remembered for, right? What type of legacy you would want to leave. What thoughts come to mind, personal or professional, that you feel like would be most important?
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought about leaving an impression on anyone or a legacy.
Well,
I guess
you
I
do
have
leave
to,
impressions, so now it's time to think about it.
I don't
We
know.
all do.
I don't know. I tell you what. I'm gonna put it this way. The biggest compliment I got, and my daughter did it, is my granddaughter, who's 7, 8 years old, had to do career day, and lo and behold, my daughter just got her real estate license.
Oh, nice.
And so
Is she going to work with you?
Yes, she's going to work with me.
Is that going to be your first team building? Are you building a
Well,
team now?
I have other people on my website, but Ashley would be underneath my wing.
Okay.
Ashley would be underneath my wing.
Shout out to you, Ashley.
Yes,
All the best.
and so baby Farah had to go to school, and she wanted to be a realtor.
I
So
wonder where she got that idea.
I don't know. And so because of your beautiful article, she had one at home. Because it was in print, and so Ashley put it on her, and she took my article and she went to school and told everybody, "This is my Gigi, and this is my
Aw,
mommy, and I'm going
that's
to be
cute.
a realtor."
That's
So
awesome.
is that a legacy?
That is a legacy.
That's a
Absolutely.
legacy.
I love that.
If your grandchildren want to grow up and be like grandma and mommy,
That's a great legacy to leave for sure.
Yeah.
Grandma
To the next
DeCarlucci
generation.
needs her money.
That's
it's
right.
Gigi. Actually, it's Gigi.
Gigi.
It stands for gangster.
Gigi needs some money.
It's gangster granny.
Is that what it stands for? Gangster Granny.
Yes.
That's fitting.
That's perfect.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, Kelly, it's been fun to have you here, and don't be a stranger. You're always invited, of course.
Oh, I'm coming to breakfast because I love the food. No,
You're always invited to Whiskey
well,
Cake. Next
I-
Thursday is our next one.
I know, but I did want to mention one more thing. Like
ahead.
2 weeks ago, you had the panel on with all the gentlemen with
Commercial.
commercial gentlemen, and one of the gentlemen made a very valid point. And I want to say this to every single realtor out there. He had mentioned that he had a young realtor, young whippersnapper, did a great deal, and bought that brand new car, and then had to have it repossessed.
Yep.
Ugh.
Remember that.
Everyone, budget your money. Do not buy a car. Do not. Because, what's that song? You're riding high
Yeah.
today, and then is it Frank Sinatra? And then tomorrow you're in the doldrums.
Right.
You budget.
Yeah.
Budget.
Be smart.
Be smart.
And the timing could come when the car is part of the portfolio, but it's probably not
Go
smart
buy
if
it
it's on your
cash
first big
whenever you
commission
have
check.
the money. Go buy it
Right.
cash when you got the money, babe.
Amen.
Just go buy it cash.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Kelly, there was a lot of little nuggets of wisdom that we threw out here, I think, during our conversation today. So I always challenge our audience. This is the way we end every episode, which is to challenge you to take action on at least one thing that we talked about today. So the value and the time that you took in listening, whether it's on the 15 podcast platforms we're on or whether you're watching live on our YouTube channel or somewhere else. By the way, don't if you haven't subscribed yet, just click the little button below. That way you'll be notified every time we drop a new episode, which is weekly. These conversations are designed to inspire you to be a top producer yourself and to learn from the best practices that top producers put into action. So maybe you're thinking, maybe I want to work with investors, right? Just like Kelly does. Maybe you need to have a conversation with someone like Kelly. Reach out to her. And by the way, if somebody did want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, 813-495-1616 or my website, Your Home Tampa Bay Area.
Perfect. Your home Tampa Bay area. We'll get that on the description as well with the phone number. Kelly, as you can tell, is a sweetheart who's very conversational, very personable. Would love to, I'm sure, talk to somebody who's serious about wanting to grow your business and maybe pick her brain about your desires of working with investors, if that's something you'd want to do. Maybe you need to just pick up a good Jim Rohn book and read for yourself to get the mentality and the attitude right, which is a big part of success in this business. Maybe there's one of any of the other things that we touched on that just resonated with you as an opportunity to do something. We talked about the website and the opportunities that exist there in terms of marketing correctly and getting your brand out there. But what is one thing that you can take action on so that you can move forward in a successful direction with your business? And that is why we do this. Again, you can check out all of our online resources at topproducersnation.com. We have our coaching, our consulting, our software programs, the different things to support you in that journey of being a top producer. Ultimately, that's why we do what we do with Top Producers Nation. Go ahead and check us out on the next episode of Top Producers Nation podcast, and we'll see you there.